gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. OBS Bryce, and this one's gonna be a good one. The Cummins is getting compound turboed, like today, like within the next few days. Probably not gonna do too much recording, but I did want to go over kind of step by step as it gets done. Not gonna bore you guys with too much information on how I do it. I'm just gonna show you what I do, and we're just gonna dive into it. Here's the setup. That is a 64-68 12 centimeter S300. Right there on the floor is a PSR S475. It's got the 115 housing and it's billet, and it's gonna be great. First things first, let's get it apart, flip the manifold, start doing everything we need to do. Quick rundown, here's gonna be the atmosphere charger intake filter. This is going to be the intermediate charge pipe with 2 aluminum fittings, V-bands, turbo brace, oil drain. I only need one of those. There's my manifold spacer, T3. There's my T6 gasket. There is the T6 to 3-inch for those. That's going to be my hot pipe coming out of the manifold turbo. This is a HX40 to 3-inch. This is a big dog 5-inch for the hood stack. And then this is a spring gate for my S300. Here's some 5-inch piping. And yes, my plasma table is doubling as a workbench. And you can see all of my blowing diesel designs, goodies in boxes ready to go on whenever my truck gets back from Alpha Rex, which should be soon. I PB blastered everything for the manifold. Turbo is off. Oil line is capped. Oil line's capped down there. I went ahead and did a heat exchanger bypass. That's literally the stock 2 fittings. And I bent that line with a 1/2-inch conduit bender. Some pipe fittings, 3/8 pipe that were just lying around. Ordered some 5/8 heater hose plugs for that one. And then, you can't really see, but there's one under here. So that'll get rid of that heat exchanger, free up some room. You could see I got the manifold on. That was pretty easy. All the bolts came off nice. And the stupid little hood stack thing was leaking on there, so I'll clean that up. So you can see I got the spring gate on there that I got from Savage Fabrication. And I got the T3 spacer in there, which allows the adequate room. Just a little bit right there, that's all we need. Yes, that is RTV on there. I always put a little bit of high temp RTV on all my MLS gaskets. Just something I have been doing. Works great with the MLS. Got the HX40, throw that on there, and then build the hot pipe. Let's do it. All right, so it's almost midnight. I gotta work at 4 in the morning, so I guess I should give it up. This is what I got so far. Just bringing it around. I want this just aligned with the alternator pulley, very similar to like a Evil Fab side-by-side kit. This should actually work in the Cummins when it gets done, but kind of building that in mind. Lots of room for a downpipe. As you can see, I did put some work in on that hot pipe, and it is all tacked in place, and it's good. Now I'm making my turbo brace. Bolt this on like that, and then try and fabricate a bar that goes from this hole down to there. Make a little flange so this is nice and stable. And then figure out what I want to do for that pipe, and then just keep on going. Day 3, let's go. So let's check it out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Turbo is in. You could see there is my manifold. Those aren't the prettiest welds. This is all thick wall stainless, 3-inch. You can see the turbo brace. Cruise around here, kind of get a better idea of how it's looped around, and then how it, and then right now I just did the intercooler pipe, mocked it up. This thing just kicked. You can see my turbo brace right here. This seems like it's going to work out great. I'm not welding this until it's in the Cummins. Once it's in the Cummins, in my OBS, I'm going to go ahead and weld this and get rid of one of those. And because the intercooler on the Ford, the outlets are up high. So that whole intercooler pipe is absolutely 100% going to change in the future. So I just wanted to kind of connect it to the stock intercooler boot. And you can see the turbo. It does clear the hood just by a cunt hair, but it does fit. So I got some heat wrap on the way. Turbo drain line fittings are, drain and feed line fittings are on the way. So I got the ends of this intercooler pipe all bead rolled. You know, the welds aren't great, but they're gonna hold. This is a full stainless pipe, just like that's all stainless. So here we go. You know, I never claimed to be a good welder. I can just stick metal together and I know it's gonna hold, because if it doesn't, I'll fix it. But there we go. I still need to weld this onto the housing. So that's, I'll do another day, tomorrow or the next day. And yeah, so that's about it, besides the downpipe, welding the compressor on there, and oil lines, and then taking it apart, cleaning it all, making sure it's good, final assembly. But I didn't quite reach the 3-day goal like I wanted, but that's some pretty solid fucking work for 3 days after working 10-hour shifts and getting 3 hours sleep. I'm pumped on it. Day 4, intermediate stage pipe is all done, welded up. This legit might have been the fastest downpipe I've ever made in my whole life. Very much to it. As you can see, my light down there. And I'm going to drill. I'm going to drain the oil and then drill and tap the pan. That is where I'm going to put my oil drain. This is what I'm using. It is a right angle drill with a 28 millimeter broach or hole saw, whatever you want to call it. To drill the hole through, a pilot bit that I've ground down, and then I flip it around so it's smooth. You just want it riding on the pilot. You don't want it drilling anymore. So I pulled that one out. We are through. Now it's time to just go nice and slow. Don't drill it all the way through. You're almost all the way through. You want to angle the bit to the side so it doesn't fall in. And rock it back and forth and pull it out. All right, so you can see, and just wiggle it out. Put your finger on it so it doesn't fall in. You feel it about to come out. Now let's look at it. Do you see how clean the back side of this is? That's because we didn't go all the way through. Just enough. Got it papered thin. This is how you keep all the debris out of the engine. This is the correct way to do it. Still need to clean it, but boys and girls, do this. Do not just jam it on through in the oil pan and let it ride. See how clean that is? That's beautiful. Came out great. All right, so that drain fitting, I ended up tacking it in 3 spots, and I'm all out of JB Weld steel sticks, so I'll have to go to the store tomorrow. But right now, I am gonna pull this out and then put the AN fitting in there. It was fucking tough, but we got through it. So last night, I went ahead and pulled everything off and powder coated it. Came out pretty good. I got some valve covers that are in there cooling. Those are also ready to be put on. That's my pipe that is all nice and heat wrapped. Yeah, it looks good. I just went ahead and did the grease test. You could see that intercooler, or that clamp is hidden right there. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut this little piece of the hood. It's been probably about 3 weeks since I started the whole thing. I worked on it for 3 days, took 2 weeks off, worked on it for 1 day when I did the powder coating, and then I got sick. Family shit. Now we're back at it. I had ordered the oil lines, ordered the wrong ones, the ones I bought, putting them on, get to my last line, and the fitting snapped. So I went to my local hydraulic hose supply and had them whip me some feed lines up. The drains are in. Everything is fully assembled right now. I need to toss the downpipe on. I did cut the hood, as you can see. Just trying to do like double checks. I do have to crank the motor and get oil into the turbos, and then it's time to fire it up and bleed the coolant. As far as these hoses, literally just goes in there. And this one, I cut it, turn the elbow, and just kind of bead rolled the end. Boom. I'll make some brackets to hold them up and down, and it'll be all done. Simple little brackets I made, and I'll show you when I put them on how that's going to work. Yeah, coolant hoses, you can see that's the factory bracket. I just did a longer bolt, made this little L bracket, sits back there. Everything's nice and tight. Same thing right there, just through the injection line. My coolant hoses are somewhat close, but they were honestly closer with the turbo flipped in the stock location, so that should be all right. Definitely do need to make sure I tighten up all my clamps. And who's ready for a first start? Let's do it. Yell at me if anything happens, because it's the first start and I got it primed. So after the first start, I noticed my V-band is leaking back there, which is kind of shitty. I guess I'll fix it, but I really want to drive it. I threw my air filter on because you never know. Let's go sneak out of the garage and see what we can do. You know, love it or hate it. It took me 5 minutes, so for now, that's what it's gonna be. Pulsar sounds good, baby. Now let's just pull it back in and check for leaks. All done. I got the oil leak fixed. I tightened up the clamp and the exhaust leak seemed to go away. I'm gonna warm it up and top off the trans, go for a ride, check out my little rain cap I made. That's kind of cool, right? What do y'all think? I got the turbo blankets on there. Just Amazon had a flash sale. They were like 13 bucks each. So I got the air filter off just for the video because it looks cool. But guy I follow on TikTok, he has a sick ass second gen, made like 1,000 on spray. I think it made like 8 something on fuel. But he had no air filter and a rag got sucked up and bent his VS Racing turbo all up on his compound setup. So yeah, maybe next time I wipe the dirt off my face, but I don't really care. Go for a drive, get some more video, and I'm pumped right now. I'm super pumped. Let's the AFC housing, I have a diesel auto power compound turbo spring for the AFC housing that needs to get put in and it needs to get tuned. I'm gonna do that when I do the intake horn, so kind of over there we'll do that. And I got the spring gate halfway right now. I'm gonna see how it does. Just halfway I can make some adjustments. I did drill and tap my manifold for drive pressure gauge, so that's cool, something I hadn't mentioned before. So I am going to do the drive pressure and see, you know, what the adjustment on the wastegate does. But I had to make the rain cap because I'm trying to move my Lexus in to the garage and it's raining. Random, but I think it looks cool, nice and low profile. So I don't have to worry about putting anything on there. But we are all done. Diesel auto power. I need some bigger injectors. You guys, come on, let's do it. S300, I need to add a S400 or maybe take it off, but so quiet. I'm like, this is awesome. I have a hood stack and it's quiet. Like, this is badass. Hopefully that's rain on my windshield and not coolant or oil. Just kidding, I know it's rain. So that's gonna do it for the compound turbo video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I tried to keep this one short and somewhat sweet. If you've made it this far, greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching my video. If you guys want a more in-depth dive into any aspect of this, just let me know and I can make an additional video outlining exactly what you need. You know, the oil line fittings, I was going to include that into the video, get real detailed. What I really have left is the AFC spring, like I had said before. I'm going to do an intake manifold horn. I don't know if I want to do a single or a double. I have everything to do a double. I'd love some bigger injectors. These are 5x13s. Really like to get some 5x16s, 5x18s. I think that'll be good. A few more things to do, small little details. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video with that and include any questions or concerns, comments, more details you guys might have. But if you made it this far, again, I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thank you guys. OBS Bryce, I'm out.